Oh my gosh, you guys. I was sitting here doing a little dance for the camera while I was waiting for it to go live, and then realized that I hadn't actually clicked the button. Oh, such is my life. Welcome and happy Friday. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday. holiday. I appreciate those of you who are joining us live. Looks like I've got quite a few people who are workaholics like me and working to try and get stuff done. So I am, good morning. Yeah, so good morning. Alrighty. So I don't want to waste a lot of time today. We've got a fairly short exercise to work through this morning. But I'm going to expand on it. I should have put this in the email and in the Facebook post. That you're gonna, by being with me live, we're gonna talk a little bit extra. You're gonna get some extra stuff that's beyond the exercise, because the exercise itself is quite short today. So, and it looks like my chat is working. If you guys have been on the last couple of weeks, for some reason I've been having issues with my chat. But it looks like it's working and it's live and all of that stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. You know what I have not done is I have not tested my screen share. Let's try it out. All right. Make this a little smidge bigger. Hello. No. Whoa. What happened there? No. There we go. Still too big. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, well, this is what it is. I'm going to close all this stuff, all these people. Okay, here we go. What if I do? No, that doesn't work. All right, I don't know what's happening. Anyway, hello and welcome to this week's live stream that we hold every week live here inside our free Facebook group, the QBO Gym Locker Room. The QBO Gym Locker Room is your spot for hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. That is what we do. That is what we're here for. Hands-on practice. You hear me say that every week. If you are a member of the locker room, you get a free QBO QuickStart course. That course was emailed to you. So when you joined, you gave us your email, and among other things, we give you the free QBO QuickStart course. That's going to teach you how to sign up for your free QuickBooks Online accountant account, how that account is different than the regular QBO subscription that business owners purchase. It's going to teach you the terminology and workflows, basic processes in QuickBooks Online, and of course you get hands-on exercises to actually enforce all of the stuff that you're learning. Also, as part of the being a member of the locker room, you have access to over 100 free exercises. People are always asking me, where do I find those free exercises? And the answer is in the featured section. So for some reason, my featured section is not showing up. I don't know what the heck is going on with my computer, guys. But you can also get to it by clicking featured. Usually it's like right on in front. Actually, what's going to happen if I refresh my screen? I don't know. I'm just going to leave it like this because I don't want to mess with it. But there is a post that says, welcome to the locker room. This was also emailed to you. So I started to say that the course was emailed to you. This locker room, welcome to the locker room with all this juicy information, was also emailed to you. So if you did not get that when you joined, please reach out to us at support@acadian.com. That's AKADIAN, so that we can look into your account. Maybe you have a typo, maybe you're looking in the wrong, maybe it went to spam or promotions, or who knows. So we can look into it and get you squared away so that you can get your free course and your free exercises. So anyway, there is a post in here that is over 100 free exercises. We are actively updating that with all of the new exercises for this year. So that's going to be coming. Also, it still says Fast and Easy QBO. I keep waiting for our new website to launch. It's going to be any day. Now our people are, not my people, but the people that are doing the website and everything are on vacation until after the 1st. So it won't be until next week. But anyway, it still says Fast and Easy QBO, even though we have changed our name to Acadian. All right, so you get your 100 free exercises. You also get a free exercise of the week when you join us live on this live stream. The exercise of the week is part of our paid product. Everything I've talked about so far: free QuickStart course, free 100 exercises, free live stream, free Facebook group, all that stuff, free. But we also have a paid subscription product called the QBO Gym. That's why this is called the locker room. Some people get this confused. The free stuff is in the locker room. The paid stuff is the actual QBO Gym. So the QBO Gym is simulated work experience. So if you've ever said to yourself, "Oh man, I got my certification, but I don't feel like I actually know what I'm doing. Oh man, I wish that I could be an intern somewhere, or I wish that I could shadow somebody, and just to see what it's like. Or I just want to see what it's like to be a bookkeeper. I don't even know if that's right for me." Okay, that's what the QBO Gym is for. You actually get an entire year's worth of in-depth experience being a bookkeeper. So it's a simulated, immersive work environment where you have a new client, and for an entire year, you're going to be working on your client's books as different things happen throughout his business. And you have to learn all of the ins and outs of QuickBooks Online and how to handle the different situations. It doesn't take a year to get through. It takes about 42 real-time hours to get a full year's worth of experience. And at the end of that year, you get a certificate that says you have a year's worth of experience. Then you can choose to go on to year 2, and you'll get a certificate at the end of year 2 also. Hopefully, knock on wood. The end of year 2, or year 2 is the last month of year 2, is going to be released next week. And I hope that we have the certificate in place. But we will shortly. It's with the designer. So hopefully all of that will be in place. Anyway, so you can try out the QBO Gym with a 5-day challenge. Joel has posted that in the chat. If you want to just check it out and see what the gym is like, you can try it free for 5 days. And then if you decide you want to join, of course, there's a discount, all that good stuff. Okay. Everything that you do in the QBO Gym is linked to your Booksmatch profile. Now, Booksmatch is our proprietary dashboard that is where you access all of your courses. No matter what course you have with Acadian, you're going to have a Booksmatch dashboard where you have a button that says "Go to my courses," and you can link to. That's how you're going to pull up your list of all the courses that you're enrolled in. But if you are a member of the QBO Gym, then you have this expanded part of the Booksmatch dashboard, which tracks your activity in the QBO Gym. So as you're working through the gym, you are learning skills. So for example, Annie here that I pulled out. She's in first place right now today. And this is her first time in first. I've never seen her name before. So woohoo, Annie. Annie has been working through the gym. She's verified 394 skills, and those skills are grouped by what we call skill groups, which you can see here. And you can click on any skill group to find out the details of what you were learning during as you're working through the exercises. Then we have the group comparison down at the bottom. So in this case, it's Annie's. Scores are the solid line, and then the average of everybody else is this kind of faded line here. Now, we created this dashboard because we wanted to show you off. We were like, we have all these people working in the gym and doing all of these cool things. And this would be super valuable for the world. So we created this Booksmatch dashboard so that you could show off your skills and we can show off your skills and what people are learning. And so to do that, we had to rank you, and we do that by measuring 3 specific metrics. The first is your knowledge. So the knowledge is just the breadth of skills, the total that you have verified since the beginning of you being in the gym. But the problem with this, and that's great. The knowledge, the total breadth of knowledge is great. The problem with that is that we have some people who've been in the gym for a really long time and some people who are brand new. And we don't want to penalize the people who are new just because they're new and they haven't had a chance to complete as many as somebody who's been around for a long time. So to balance that out, we are also tracking speed. Now, speed is not how fast you work through an exercise, but it's how many exercises you can get through within a week, okay? So Annie here has verified 19 skills within 1 week. And so if you could have low knowledge, but still have high speed, and then you're still ranked really high because of that, okay? However, the most important metric that we measure is consistency. We built this dashboard in conjunction with a recruiter who said that her most frustrating thing was that she would reach out to people who she found out were already, weren't looking. They already had a job, or they, something happened. They weren't actually looking for work anymore. And so because of that, she really wanted us to incorporate a check-in. She was like, I want you to check. I want people to be forced to check in every week to say, yes, I'm still looking. Yes, I'm still looking. Yes, I'm still looking. Okay. And we thought that was a little excessive. So we said, well, instead of every week, we'll do it every 2 weeks. And then instead of you just checking in that you're still looking, we said, why don't we just give them an exercise? So that's how the exercise of the week was born. So the exercise of the week is actually its own course. It looks like this. So it's actually its own course separate from the gym that you unlock once you have earned 250 points. And 250 points doesn't mean 250 skills. It just means every exercise is worth points. And as you check them off, everything is gamified. So it adds to your total points here. So this is the total points and so as soon as this is 250 points, then it unlocks the exercise of the week. The reason it doesn't unlock until then is because you can still maintain your consistency just by doing exercises. The only reason that we created the exercise of the week was so that the people who didn't have any more work to do still had something to do so that they could keep their consistency high. Now, but the added benefit of that is that if you join the live stream live, then we go through the exercise of the week, which is what we're going to do right now. Okay, so, and I'm seeing, all right, so yeah, so the links, Thank you, Lindsay. Lindsay's put in some links. Joel has put in some links. All right, thanks for answering questions. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our exercise for the day. I don't know if you know this. Every exercise that we do has a code, and this is 2024 week 52. So this is our last exercise of 2024. So we're talking today about clearing accounts. So I'm going to click our link here to learn about clearing accounts. And specifically, we're going to be talking about liability clearing accounts. But I'm going to go into more detail about what that is. All right, so let's just talk about the scenario, okay? So the scenario is it's the end of the month, so you are reconciling all of Craig's accounts before handing off the balance sheet. Now, we have been talking, I'm going to take off. Okay. We have been talking for the last couple of weeks about reconciling, okay? Reconciling is one of the most important things that you should be doing as a bookkeeper. Like, it's almost the most important thing, but it's not the most important. It's almost the most important thing. It's so important that you reconcile every month. We have talked about reconciling bank accounts. We've talked about reconciling credit card accounts. We've talked about reconciling loan accounts, but you have to be reconciling all the time. And I have been doing, okay, let me back up for a second. So as I mentioned, we created Booksmatch because we wanted to show you off. And so in showing you off, we started reaching out to a bunch of people. And the first thing that we did was we reached out to people. I mean, we're doing it in order of easiest to hardest. Okay. So the easiest thing for us to do was reach out to people who had job descriptions on Monster and Indeed. Okay. So we were like, if you had a job description up there, then we said, hey, and it said bookkeeper or something like that. Hey, go use our, reach out to our people. The problem is that what we found was that most of our people didn't want jobs. They want freelance opportunities. And so that only had a moderate amount of success. We're going to change Booksmatch a little bit in this coming year to make it easier for you to identify yourself and to make it easier for the recruiters to identify the people who are actually looking for a job versus freelance work. Okay. So that's coming. The next group of people that we started talking to accounting firm owners. And I actually have a full-time person on staff here at Acadian whose whole job is to call accounting firms, okay, and reach out to accounting firms. And as he did that, we discovered that what the accounting firms really want is not a knowledge of QuickBooks Online, although that's valuable because QuickBooks Online still has 82% market share of, all the software out there. But they really wanted people who know bookkeeping, accounting principles at a deep, deep level. Because if you can know QuickBooks Online and still mess things up if you don't understand how it works under the covers, okay? So we were like, oh, we didn't realize. So we are creating what we're calling the Bookkeeping Accelerator. The bookkeeping, we have always only ever taught software, and now we are stepping into the arena of actually teaching bookkeeping and accounting principles. And we're doing this specifically so that we can help bridge the gap of knowledge, understanding, and camaraderie and appreciation between bookkeepers and accountants. What we found was that the accountants were so frustrated with bad bookkeeping that many of them are just doing the bookkeeping themselves, and which means they're having to charge their clients higher rates then and then the clients are complaining, and the accountants have way too much work to do. They're doing what they consider like the tedious, busy work because they feel like they're the only ones that know how to do it, instead of training other people on how to get that work off their plate so that they can stay in their zone of genius and actually, work on the taxes. Or if they're a managerial accountant, actually help people, advise people on their business. Okay. So anyway, we are working on this bookkeeping accelerator in conjunction. And so we have a wait list going. Joel will put that in the chat so people can sign up. That's coming in January. But as part of this, I have been doing interview. We formed a tax advisory council that has accountants and EAs, tax preparers, people with a lot of experience, to advise us on what exactly should be in this course. And I have been doing interviews with these people. So if you haven't seen, maybe Joel could put the YouTube channel in the chat. I forgot, I didn't put that in our spreadsheet. But anyway, so I've been interviewing accountants and tax preparers. And the very first one I did, I just about fell out of my chair. If you have watched it, you can see that at first I didn't believe what he was saying. Like, you can tell from my facial expression that I didn't believe what he was saying. And then, excuse me. And then he like gets into the camera. He's like, no, they really aren't. So what's happening? Like, a shocking number of bookkeepers are not reconciling. And I just thought, but this is a basic thing that you guys need to be doing. Like, this is a basic thing that you do. So anyway, so that's why on the exercise of the week, the past couple of weeks, we've been focusing on reconciling. Now, it's easy to reconcile when you have a statement. Okay, so if you have the bank statement, you just compare what's happening with the bank and what's happening with QuickBooks Online. If you have a loan statement, you compare, how much you have left on the loan, how much you're paying in principal and interest. Make sure you split out principal and interest. It's easy when you have the statements. Credit cards, that's another thing you have statements for, to be able to reconcile the accounts. But you actually should be reconciling every account that you see on the balance sheet. So let me just talk about that for a second before we hop into the exercise. Okay, so I'm going to load up the sample company. Oops, what did I just do? Does anyone have a recommendation for training? I accidentally put that up on the screen. Is that even from this? Is that even from today's chat? I don't even know I don't know what I did, guys. I can't take it off. Okay. I'm going to put this. Can I put Stephanie up on? Oh, what did I do, guys? Okay, wait, hold on. That is the screen share. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm having a technical issue here. Okay. All right, oh gosh, okay. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I'm gonna load up the sample company. Okay. So in our exercises, we have like how to get to the sample company in your account, and that's always what we've been taught. But we recently, and several people are super excited about this, we actually found out that we can load the sample company, the accountant version of the sample company outside of your account. So we created this little link. It's acadian.com/QBOA. That will load up the sample company. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And I just want to show you something. This may be, okay. So I'm going to go to account. There's lots of ways to get to reconcile. I'm going to go to Accountant Tools and then Reconcile. These first two screens you only get when you're opening reconciliation for the first time. Okay. Now, when you reconcile, you have this drop down where you select, here, can I make this bigger? How can I make this bigger? Yeah, there we go. Where you select your account, okay? Have you ever noticed that you have accounts listed, all these other accounts listed here? Have you ever noticed this? Like, we've done bank accounts, checking, banking, but now we have, look, inventory asset, prepaid asset, like all these asset accounts, okay? Then we have the credit cards, okay, we know about these, but then we have other current liabilities. Like, are you aware that you can or should be reconciling these accounts? All right, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so let me go back to the exercise, which is where on my, oh, here it is. Okay. All right, so let me read the scenario again. It's the end of the month, so you're reconciling all of Craig's accounts before handing off the balance sheet. Craig has been paying sales tax on some items. How do you reconcile this liability clearing account? That's what we're talking about today, is liability clearing accounts. Well, we're going to talk about clearing accounts in general. So in the exercise, it says to load the sample company. I already did that. Now let's get started with the exercise, and let's just talk about clearing accounts for a moment. So a clearing account is an account that is used to record funds temporarily. Okay? So it's a temporary account. Its natural balance is zero because the money is typically only there for a short period of time, and then maybe I should have added the phrase, and then cleared out. Okay? So that's why it's called a clearing account, is that you record money there temporarily, and then you clear it out of the account. So it is the natural, we've been talking about debits and credits and natural balances and all that stuff. Well, clearing accounts, the natural balance is zero. It should typically, we always want it to be zero. It's rarely zero, but we want it to be zero, okay? Some clearing accounts are asset accounts, meaning the balance is money owned by the business that will eventually be transferred elsewhere. A good example of this is PayPal, where payments are collected temporarily before being transferred to the client's bank account. You guys all have PayPal accounts. You all know this is true, okay? So it piles up in the PayPal account, and then in one fell swoop, boom, deposit. So what happens, what you see on the bank account is just this big lump sum. But actually that clearing account, like all of the stuff that goes in it, that needs to be reconciled too, okay? So once the money is transferred, the balance will be back to zero, okay? So that's an asset account, meaning it's money that the business owns. It's just in this place instead of this place, okay? Some clearing accounts, and this is actually, I would say, most clearing accounts, are liability accounts, meaning the balance is money owed to someone else. I hate the fact that owed and owned are just one word difference, one letter difference, because then sometimes it's hard to remember, okay? So this is owned. Assets are owned by the business. Liabilities are owed to someone else, okay? So the balance is money owed to someone else that will eventually be paid. This is the case for many short-term liability accounts such as sales and payroll taxes and other payroll accounts such as insurance and garnishments. Once the money is paid out, the balance will be back to zero, okay? So in the asset accounts, money's coming, you own it already. The money's coming in, it's just accumulating in a pile. You already own it. It's an asset, you own it, and it's just going to be transferred to a different place, okay? With the liabilities, it's you're tallying up the total that you owe. You owe this plus this plus this plus this plus this, and then you have this big pile that you owe. And then once you pay it off, boom, it goes back down to 0. Okay, so most accounts, most liability accounts that you'll see are this type of account. Okay, all tax accounts are like this. You accumulate, and then it empties out. It clears out. That's why it's called a clearing account. It clears out and goes back to 0. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is Craig's sales tax liability, because that's the one that is set up in the sample company. Okay, so all of our exercises here at Acadian are created using a program called Scribe. And Scribe provides a plugin, an extension, if you have Google Chrome, so it's a Chrome extension. And if you load that extension, usually I have my extension tab up. I don't know why I don't. Okay, how do I get to manage extensions? Okay, so here we go. Here's the extensions, and it looks like this. It's got this little logo on it. It says Scribe AI Documentation. Okay, so if you load that onto your Google Chrome, then when you're doing any of our exercises, you'll have this little button that's called Guide Me. Okay, so when I click Guide Me, and I have to have the sample company already open, but if I have the sample company open and I click Guide Me, then I have to confirm, then it does this magic and it shows you the exercise on one side and the sample company on the other, so you can go through it. Okay. Now, when I was playing with this, I don't know, sometime this week, I noticed that they actually have a new thing where sometimes you have to, it's probably what this little Guide Me button is. So you actually have to click the button to take you to the next step, which I find annoying. So I'm glad that it is turned off right now, because I was afraid that, oh my gosh, during the live stream, we're going to have extra clicks. You know, Hector Garcia always talks about like saving clicks. Like you know, in our business, we don't want to have to be clicking around all the time. Okay. So here we are in our exercise, and this is what we were just talking about. Okay. So now we're going to talk about how to reconcile this account. And we clicked account and tools. We already clicked reconcile. We already went through these first intro things. So here's where we are under I guess I'm not on this page. So I guess I got to do this again. Go here and then reconcile. Let me close this. Okay. I'm going to close this so you can see better. I'm also going to make it a little smaller. There we go. Okay. So from this drop down, we're going to select the Board of Equalization Payable. Okay. This is the vendor that is set up to collect sales tax payments for California in the sample company. Okay. So I'm going to click Board of Equalization Payable. Now, you typically, when you are reconciling these accounts, you typically don't have a statement. So what should be the ending balance when you are reconciling a clearing account? What should be, I'm going to just leave that one out there. Just going to leave that one out there. Wait to see what shows up in the chat. What should the ending balance be? Of course, you can cheat by looking at the exercise, but I'm curious to know if anybody knows. Debbie, excellent. Carmen, Corey, 0. Exactly. Why is that? Because that's the goal, right? It's like it should be, we want it to be 0. Okay. So we're going to put an ending balance of 0. The ending date is going to vary based on what you're doing. I'll explain that more at the end, but for right now, I am just going to put in T for today. That's typically what we use in our exercises because the dates on the sample company are always changing, so our exercises rarely have actual dates in them. Okay, so now I'm going to click Start Reconciling. Okay, all right, so I'm going to close all these pop-ups, which I have here, closing pop-ups. Okay, all right. Since this is a liability clearing account, the balance went to zero when the money was paid out. So we're going to start by clicking the payment. Okay, so here is our sales tax payment. I want to click that. Okay, so now, this payment is what emptied the account, took it down to zero. Okay, well, what we want to know is all of the things that came in to make up that payment. Okay, and so we can clearly see here, these are the liabilities from these invoices. Here are these 3 invoices that had sales tax payments on them. So we're going to click that, click that, click that, and boom, now it is 0. Okay, all right, finish now, and done. Oops, and done. And that's all there is to it. I told you it was going to be a super quick exercise today. But I do want to talk about a couple of extra things. I have some final notes, and then I'm going to talk about how to do the last thing on there. Okay, so I'm going to go back to where we can see the exercise big, okay? Because I want to be able to read this stuff at the end. Okay, all right. Since you often don't have source documents you can use, how often you reconcile the clearing accounts really depends on how many transactions accumulate. Reconcile more frequently if there are many transactions, or less frequently if there are only a few. So in the cleanup course, for example, Corey does a reconciliation for the whole year, and then you just go through and do this one, you click this one and all the stuff that matches it. Then you click this one and all and all the things that match up. So you can do it for a long period of time. But here's the thing with anything in bookkeeping is that if you don't want to wait until the last minute. One of the things, let me take off my little hair for a minute. One of the things that I talked about in my interview with Paul, who was my most recent accountant interview that I did, was he said that, and I hadn't even registered this. This is why I'm doing the interviews, guys, because, I don't know anything. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a tax preparer. So, I'm learning so much from these guys. But one of the things he reminded me of was that most businesses have automatic extensions. Okay, so business taxes are due March 15th, but rarely does anybody have that done. So they automatically file an extension, which means they're actually not due until September 15th. Okay, well, now it's September 12th, and you're having to ask the business owner about something that happened a full 18 months ago. Okay, so let's say it happened in, January the previous year. Who remembers? Who remembers that? Okay, so you have to find a balance between, you don't want to wait until the last minute and end up with a whole year of stuff, because then nobody remembers anything, and then it causes all sorts of havoc. But then you also don't want to necessarily go in there and do it every single time. Okay, so you have to find a balance. Okay, based on the frequency of the transactions and the payouts. If you're doing a quarterly tax payment, which again, the frequency is often determined by the locality receiving the taxes. So it will be like a range of revenue. If you're in this revenue range, then you have to pay, monthly, and then sometimes quarterly, or whatever it is. Okay. So So you could, every time that you do that, go in and reconcile that. Or if it's really not that much, you could do it on some other schedule. Okay. All right. You can reconcile more than one payment during one reconciliation. That's what I was just saying. Like in the cleanup course, Corey talks about doing it for a whole, doing that account for the whole year. And the way that you do that is you just click, in the case of a liability, it's a payment. In the case of an asset, it's a deposit or a transfer. But in the case of liability, so it's a payment, so you're just going to click that payment, and then all the ones that made up that payment, and then you're going to do the next payment, and all the ones that made up that payment, okay? So you can do multiple at one time. My demonstration was just one. All right, now, this is what I just said. For asset clearing accounts, it will be a transfer or a deposit that clears the account and brings the balance to zero. Okay, so in the case of PayPal, what's happening, right? That's going to be an asset clearing account. So you're going to have money coming in, money coming in, money coming in, and then boom, you're just going to transfer it to the checking account. So that's either going to be a transfer to the checking account or it's going to be a deposit to the checking account. Okay, so that's what's going to be clearing it out. If there are a large number of transactions that make up the clearing transaction, making it difficult to determine what is included in the total, you can run a transaction report. Doing so is outside the scope of this exercise. However, guess what? Because we're on the live stream together, I am going to show you. So this is not part of the exercise. We're done with the exercise. But I'm going to show you how you could run a transaction report that would show you what makes up that payment. Okay. What is the suggested, Deidre is asking, what is the suggested workflow setting up clearing accounts? I don't understand the question about like setting up clearing accounts, but it's outside the scope of what we're talking about here. So I would recommend that you post that type of a question in the resources, in one of the peer groups listed in the resources doc. So we will at some point possibly have exercises sorry, I got distracted by, okay. All right, I'm getting distracted by all of the comments. I want to go back and show you how to create a transaction report of the sales tax liability, okay? So this is not we're now leaving the exercise, and I'm just going to show you this because I think it's valuable. Now, in order to do this, I have to go back to my, okay. All right, in order to do this, I'm going to open this back up. In order to do this in the sample company, and this is part of why I did not include it in the exercise itself, is because you have to, in order to do what I'm going to show you, you have to set up sales tax, the new sales tax in the sample company. Now, sales tax, I don't know how long, a number of years ago, went through a big like revamp. So now QuickBooks is, let me take myself off tiny face here because this is important. Okay. All right. So it used to be in QuickBooks, you had to know what the tax rate was, and you had to go in and set up every agency that you paid, and you had to know and put in the rate. And then if it changed, you had to go update the rate, and you had to keep on top of all of that. Okay. So the sample company is set up in that old style sales tax. The new sales tax, QuickBooks Online like figures all of that out for you. All you have to set up is the agency, and it will calculate all of that. Okay. In the gym, I want to say, I can't remember. it's somewhere in the middle of the year. We have an issue that is fully focused on sales tax, and you learn all of the ins and outs of sales tax. You learn about how to set up the new sales tax in QuickBooks Online. Everything I'm going to show you is in that issue of the gym. Okay, so what I have to do now is I have to convert this to the new sales tax in order to show. So I don't want you guys to get lost. Okay. All right, so let me go back. Okay, so first thing I have to do is I have to convert this to the new sales tax. So I'm going to go to, oh, isn't this fun? Oh, here it is, sales tax. Is my head covering it? Okay, sales tax. Okay, let's set up your new and improved sales tax center. That's what we're doing, getting started. Okay, so I have to answer all these questions. This was what was set up previously in the old system. So now it says, okay, how am I transferring over what was in the old system to the new system? So I'm just gonna put in Again, I'm going super fast, but this is in the gym if you're subscribed to the gym. There's a whole month dedicated to all the nitty-gritty details of this, okay? Say, yep, that's what we're using. Okay, then it's going to give us a little view of our thing. Okay, so then I have to set up the filing frequency. Then I have to do this. Okay. All right, so that's the setup stuff. Sorry, I went super fast. Okay, so this sample company has Nexus in both Arizona and California. Okay, so that's why they have it set up like this. And even though most of their business is done in California, it's alphabetical, so Arizona is selected first here, but California is really what I want to look at. Okay, so I'm going to click on here to go look at California. I could also use this drop down here, and here is the each of the periods. Okay, so this is the different periods that the sample company never filed. Okay, they never filed. And because this is a sample company, it actually doesn't realize that remember that payment that we matched earlier, okay, was that $38.50. It actually doesn't recognize that, and so it thinks that it's overdue, and that's why that $32.50 is here. So we're going to say, I'm just going to use this $32.50 as an example. Forget for a moment that we already paid it and reconciled it, okay? So, and I'm going to review sales tax. And now when I go here, it will tell me it'll tell me the gross amount of sales, the non-taxable sales, the taxable sales, and the tax amount, okay? However, there's nothing I can do. Like, this is just static. Like, I can't actually do anything to this. In order to actually view the underneath, I have to go to View Tax Liability Report in QuickBooks, okay, in the Report Center, okay? So now here is those exact numbers that I just looked at. Now they are in a report in QBO. And by being in a report in QBO, that means they're clickable, okay? So now I can say, well, what actually made up this $32.50? Okay, so I can click this number here. And now I know, oh, here are the transactions that actually made up that. So when I'm doing my reconciliation, I can use this right here. I know this is the one I'm going to click first, $32.50, the payment. Then I'm going to click, these are the two liabilities that made up that payment. Okay? All right. So that's how you get your list. Let me do it again for, let me go back to the sales tax center. Let me do it again for, well, I don't think I can because this is, yeah. So this quarter is still accumulating. So I don't think that I can actually run the tax liability report yet. Yeah, I can't because, oh no, here I can. Okay, so I can say view tax liability report. Okay, again, I click the tax amount. And here are all of the transactions. So you can see this might be a little harder to reconcile because there's more that are in here and several that have the same amount. Okay, so this is a document that you could use to reconcile your liability account. Okay. Oh, and Lindsay also mentioned, okay. All right. So that is the exercise that I wanted to share with you today. Let me get to, all right. So Deidre asked the suggested workflow for setting up clearing accounts. I don't know what you mean by the workflow to set up a clearing account. Greg said, Square is one I'm currently fighting with. Okay, I don't know what you mean by fighting, but Lindsay points out that in the one of the episode or one of the issues of the gym, we have a fictitious payment processor called Slice, and you do get to practice using that as a clearing account for that. Also, in the February issue of the gym, we have a PayPal thing. So yeah, it's scattered throughout. Let's see. Uyi says, the definition of clearing accounts in this exercise made me realize that prepaid accounts are clearing. The reconciliation frequency of this account could be the life of the prepaid amount. Yes, I don't want to get too weird. We are going to go into prepaid stuff in a later exercise. So just what she's referring to is if, for example, you prepay for insurance. Okay, insurance is the typical example. You pay on an annual basis. You pay it one time, but actually that is spread out throughout the month. So if you keep it as let's say you paid in January, then it makes it look like your expenses in January are really, really large. But actually that should be spread out throughout the year. So we'll talk, that's more advanced. We'll talk about that in a future exercise. But it's also there is another episode of issue of the gym where we talk specifically about that. I want to say that might be May, where we talk about that specific thing. Okay, let's see. Jamie says, if I purchase out of state, do I pay? Okay, so Jamie, this is not a class on sales tax. It's not a class on sales tax. However, sales tax is different. It's different. Some are you pay it based on where you sold it. Some say you buy it, you pay it where you bought it. Some are both. So oh my gosh, there are so many rules. And yeah, you just have to cross each bridge when you come to it. In fact, I remember Corey telling me, and I noticed that she's on the call today, that Texas has like the most complicated sales tax anywhere. And I don't know, Corey, can I say, is it okay for me to say that she told me that she would never take a Texas sales tax client again because it's so complicated. So, but if you want to figure it out, there's a lot of money, right, for the people who are willing to figure it out. Okay, so now that we have done our exercise and we understand how to reconcile a liability account, one of the things that comes with your membership in the gym, and we provide with the exercise of the week, is a marketing prompt. So we developed these marketing prompts specifically because somebody asked people, I always was hearing people say, I know that I need to post on social media, but I don't know what to say. I kept hearing that over and over as people were trying to market themselves, market their business. I don't know what to say. And I thought, but it's so easy to know what to say because you're constantly learning something. And so we started implementing in the gym. In the gym, it works a little bit different. In the gym, you have to work. As you work through the gym, you actually earn marketing prompts. And so you earn those marketing prompts as you learn a thing. With the exercise of the week, we just give them for every exercise. Okay. So here is the sample post. Okay. So we love to now call them QBO Quick Tips. And it says, did you know that it's not just bank and credit card accounts that need to be reconciled every month, but your clearing accounts too? If you don't know what a clearing account is, it might be time to hire a bookkeeper. Or if you really want, I can show you the ropes. Let me know either way. Happy to help. Okay? So how are you going to use these marketing prompts? Well, we offer we are not a marketing company. If you guys have been around for a while, you hear me say that over and over. We're not a marketing company, but we do teach one method for how to use these marketing prompts to land client conversations. We call that the 3-2-1 marketing method. Joel will put the link to that. I did a new video. And there is a newly updated video where I go in all of the detail about how to use the marketing prompts and what the 3-2-1 method is. In a nutshell, you need to grow your network, you need to make and strengthen connections, and you need to demonstrate your expertise. So you're going to grow your network by asking for introductions, okay? I'm very clear, you don't want to ask for referrals because it's nobody else's job to market your business for you. And they don't know if you're any good. So they want to, but you do want to ask for introductions. And you're asking for an introduction to a potential business owner, a potential business owner is just any small business owner that uses QuickBooks Online. That's it, period. Doesn't matter if they are currently looking for a bookkeeper. It doesn't matter if they do the bookkeeping themselves. Doesn't matter. All that matters is that they are a small business owner that uses QuickBooks Online. Okay, so 3 times a day, you're going to ask for an introduction to that type of person with the goal that hopefully 2 times per week, you will actually connect with somebody that fits that description. And then in conjunction with that, you're going to post 2 times a week, and you're going to connect with them on LinkedIn. Sorry, I meant to say that. You're going to connect with them on LinkedIn. And then 2 times per week, you're going to post these QBO tips so that people always remember that you are an expert in QuickBooks Online. You're going to post your tips, you're going to comment and like on other people's posts, and then the goal of all of that is to land at least 1 diagnostic review. Now, we teach you how to do the diagnostic review. That's part of the cleanup course, because you have to know it to be able to do a cleanup. Is you have to understand, look and see what's wrong in order to know what you need to do to fix it. So in our cleanup course, we teach you how to do that. But if you can't afford our cleanup course or you don't want it for whatever reason, then there's lots of resources out there for how to do a diagnostic review, how to do a consultation or whatever. But really, everything that you are doing, all of your marketing efforts are really designed to get you in front of that business owner to demonstrate your expertise. Okay? So if you would like our help doing that we just described, if you would like our help learning how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, brainstorming people that you can reach out to for introductions, learning how to use Canva for to create your QBO quick tips, working in a group environment to keep you accountable to actually doing the activities that you need to do, and also doing activities that help you with your mindset. If you have some fear, a lot of people we find have fear of putting themselves out there, imposter syndrome or whatever. If you need help, group support to help get you, to kind of like help you get over yourself, then every month we hold a Getting Clients cohort. So right now you can register. Registration is still open for the January cohort. I would not wait until January to start, because there is like pre-work that you have to do. You have to learn you have to set up your LinkedIn profile. You have to learn how to use Canva. You have to set up and learn how to use Calendly so people can book appointments with you. Okay. So I would recommend that you sign up. If you're planning to get started in January, then you should sign up now so that you can get all that pre-work done before we get started. We're actually going to start on January 6th. Okay. So, so that is the Getting Clients cohort. You can join that. It is guaranteed, by the way, 100% guaranteed your money back if you do not land a diagnostic review. If you do not, at the end of all of that activity, actually end up with somebody to talk to about your services, then we will give you your money back. Okay, so it's money back guaranteed starting. Let's see what else. Oh, and so Joel has, I guess he will, hasn't yet, we'll put the link in the chat to sign up for the Getting Clients cohort. But you can also earn coupons for the Getting Client cohort. As you work through the gym, you unlock coupons. So after 3 months, you get $30 off. After 6 months, you get $60 off. And don't forget, when I say 3 months and 6 months, I'm not talking about the calendar time. I'm just talking about that amount of time in the gym. So the whole year takes about 42 real-time hours, like I said. So that if you do a whole year, you get $100 off. And if you're in the cleanup course, you automatically get $100 off too. So if you didn't buy it when you signed up for the cleanup course, you can reach out to us and at support@acadian.com. That's AKADIAN, and we will we'll see that you bought the cleanup, and we can just add it to your account. Okay, so I think that is it. Let's see. Okay. All right. Uyi is asking all these questions. I opened up a can of worms when I said, when we were talking about sales tax, because really we're talking about cleanup we're talking about clearing accounts in general, and I opened up a can of worms because our example was sales tax. So Uya is asking how to effectively track sales tax as a bookkeeper, especially for the fact that it's complex and varied from state to state, so it does not become a messy, complicated situation. So it's built into QBO. I mean, that's the easiest answer. It's built into QBO. So you don't have to worry about it. Like, all you have to do is, turn on sales tax. It knows. Sales tax is controlled by 3 things. You learn this in our various courses. The customer could potentially be like a nonprofit that doesn't have to pay sales tax. Then there's location-based sales tax, which is, like I mentioned, based on where you're selling the stuff, where your customer's buying the stuff. Sometimes it's both. And then at a product level basis. So depending on, there are some specific rules based on the type of products that that you're selling or that your client is selling, but all of that is built into QBO already. QBO already knows. So QBO does have that built in. Some people, there are apps that people like to use, though, that they like better. They have more control than in QBO. And if you'd like to learn more about those, go to acadian.com/resources and post in one of the groups that are one of the peer groups listed there to give you suggestions. It looks like Anne Marie is giving a suggestion on one called Avalara. I don't know anything about that. One thing that they just announced, so with payroll taxes, that if you sign up for QBO payroll, QBO will pay the payroll taxes on your behalf. They will file and pay the payroll taxes for you, okay? But that has never been the case for sales tax. For sales tax, what you saw me do in the sales tax center was just going to record the sales tax. You still have to go to the state's website. Again, this is not a class on sales tax. It's covered. This is all covered in the gym. But you have to go to the state's website and learn the rules of how you file and pay and all of that stuff. And you have to do that manually, okay? But they just announced that QBO is going to start automatically filing and paying sales tax. They're rolling it out. They are rolling it out state by state, locality by locality, and they're starting apparently with North Carolina because apparently that's the easiest one. So if you or your clients are in North Carolina, then you might see that rolled out very soon, if it's not already. So that's that. Let's see. All right, Donna is asking, at what point are you ready to start looking for clients? That's a really good question, and here it's a difficult answer. Okay, you are ready to start looking for clients when you feel ready to start looking for clients. I mean, that's really what it is. There is no licensure. There is no grand test. There is nothing that, there is nothing to prevent you from knowing nothing and going out and marketing your services as a bookkeeper. It really depends on when you feel ready to, it really just depends on when you feel ready to start taking on clients. I mean, you should absolutely know what you're doing. That's why we recommend the bookkeeping accelerators, because you're going to learn actually what bookkeeping is. And because at Acadian, we're all about hands-on learning by doing, you're going to actually be doing it as you're going through the course, and so that you understand the concepts at a deeper level than somebody who's just watching videos or reading a book, answering questions. Okay. But it really just depends on you. I mean, I want to say what experience you have, but if you don't have any experience at all, then sign up for the gym, get experience so that you know what bookkeeping is all about and you know how to handle different situations. All right. Let's see. So do you just stick to categorizing and reconciling accounts, and you do not touch the sales tax related transactions? I don't know what you mean by that. You don't touch the sales tax related transactions. I mean, you're going to reconcile that. I don't know what you mean by don't touch them. I mean, you're going to reconcile them. In the exercise, we reconciled the payment, which cleared out the account, and the transactions that made up that liability, and we reconciled those. So we touched them. I don't know, you wouldn't ever edit unless you know what you're doing, you shouldn't edit the sales tax. So I don't quite understand that question. Holly is asking, which Acadian forum do I go to ask questions about setting up my service business with Simple Start? We do not help you set up your business at all. So if somebody could type in the chat the resources document, so if you go to acadian.com/resources, then you have some peer groups listed in there, other Facebook groups that are dedicated to things like that about setting up your business. So we don't, other than the 3-2-1 method, which is just like the one method that helps you get out there, we don't do anything that has to do with setting up your business. Okay, let's see. Crystal Zachary says, you don't have to know everything about bookkeeping. If you know the basics and are willing to reach out to ask for help to learn new things, you can take on clients. Excellent. That's a great way to put it, Crystal. Some people don't want to start because they don't know everything. And you don't have to know nobody knows everything. Even people who've been doing it for 30 years still run across things that they don't know. Don't let don't let the perfect stop you from the good, or whatever. Lynette is asking, do you have an estimated amount of time it will take to complete the accelerator course? I do not yet. We still are getting it ready to hand over to our beta testers, and the beta testers are the ones that will time themselves, and so that we have an idea. So no, I don't know yet. Heather says, I hope I'm understanding this correctly. If I have not unlocked Booksmatch yet, how do I see how many points I currently have in the gym? That's an excellent question. So let me go back and show you. So here I am. This is the exercise of the week, but let me go to the gym proper. I don't know why. There is a drawer here down at the bottom. So you see this little arrow. So if you click that will tell you how many points you have earned in the gym. Speaking of points, one thing that I forgot to mention that I typically do is that if you do have the exercise of the week, if you are active in the gym, then in order to get your Booksmatch points, you have to load this link right here in the exercise of the week, not the one that Joel put in the chat. Okay, so this one right here, you use this and then click here to say that you've done it. And of course, I'm in a sample account, so I'm not getting it, but that's how you get your Booksmatch count. All right, so we've got 2 people that have posted the link to that about the resources page. Okay, all right, I think that's it. I think I answered all of the questions. Let me go. I didn't even mention this. Lynette says, Texas really does do everything big, apparently, including sales tax, apparently. All right. I don't see any more questions coming in. So I'm going to let you go. I'm going to get back to work. By the way, level 2. So those of you who have been waiting for level 2, we released it yesterday, the beginning part of it. The courses from Intuit this year are, there are multiple, the way that it works now in the Pro Advisor Academy is that you have 5. Oh, I forgot the quick tip. Oh, Joel just posted it in the chat. I did read it during, okay, good. The quick tip is in the chat now. Anyway, going back to level 2. The way that the Academy works now is that in order to get your certification, you actually have to pass 5 different exams that are connected to 5 separate courses. So when you sign up for our level 2 companion guide, which helps you go through the academy and teach you the material in a way that's like easier to understand. If you're like me, you're not a very good reader, and that's really what Intuit it does, is it just puts this, what is it? I have a team member that calls it a wall of words, right? So it's just like a wall of words. And so if you actually prefer the interaction, if you like a teacher explaining things to you, if you want to do hands-on exercises, if you want to have reinforcement exercises and sample quizzes and a quick notes guide so that you can reference while you're taking the open book exam, then that's what our level 2 course does. But you get 5, because it's designed to match the 5 separate courses in the Intuit Pro Advisor Academy. You're getting 5 separate courses from Acadian. So we released the first course yesterday, and the second course, maybe the third course, will be available today. So anyway, so we've started the release process. It's going to be a few before you get there. Okay, so so if you have not purchased the level 2 and you would like our help, we can put that link in the description. But I know some of you have said, let's see, Candace, maybe she already says, I will for sure work on that level 2 certification. So exciting, and we'll be starting that this evening after work. Woohoo! Stephanie says she's grateful she got her certs before the change. Yeah. Your certs, by the way, did transfer over, but now instead of just like a downloadable badge, it's now a Credly badge. So make sure you sign up for your Credly account. And what that does is that it proves that you actually completed a course in order to get that badge, and that you didn't just download an image off of the internet. Let's see. May is saying, why don't I have my level 2 in my Booksmatch yet? I don't know. If you purchased it, it should definitely be there. So write to support@acadian.com, and we'll take a look at what's happening with your account. Stephanie says, do you happen to know if we can take the test for practice if we already have the certification? I don't think you can. All right. I don't see any more questions coming in, so hopefully that's it. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and Happy New Year. It will be 2025 before I see you again. So anyway, celebrate. Another question coming in. Here I'm trying to give so I'm going to say goodbye to anybody who wants to leave, and then I will stay and answer questions. I will stay and answer questions. But for those of you who are wanting to leave, have a Happy New Year. Celebrate in style. I can't wait to see what 2025 brings for all of us. It's just an amazing place to be, and I can't wait to hear your success story. All right, for those of you who need to leave, that's my goodbye. For those of you who still have questions, Iris is saying, I certified and completed Pro Advisor exam 124. Do I renew next year? Yes. Lindsay, if you could put in the link to the recertification doc, that would be great. So the certification runs from November 1st through October 31st. So the year that you got your certification determines the year that you recertify. So you recertify the spring after the October 31st deadline. So if you got it in November of 2024, then the end of the season is October 2024, which means you have to recertify the following spring, which in this case is going to be, it'll be June 30th is the deadline, will be June 30th of 2025. And they will release their new training in April sometimes. I don't know. You never know with Intuit, but usually it's around the first week in April. I've seen it not released until May. But usually it's sometime in April, and then you'll have until June 30th to complete it. And yes, we do have we will have a companion guide for those of you who pre-purchased that. That's usually available a couple weeks after they release their material. We'll release our companion for it. And so that'll be in the spring. Okay, all right. I think that's everybody. And all right, here's my see ya. Have a great weekend. Have a great end of the year. And I will talk to you in 2025. Bye-bye.